Now I'm talking about the essential for O-level mathematics, additional math. So before you go into the exam hall, what will be required for the O-level mathematics? Okay, that one is for AddMath. First, you need to understand, okay, quadratic equation, quadratic form. So quadratic form is a plus b equals to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, and a minus b, a squared minus b is a plus b times a minus b, and the a cubed plus and minus b cubed. Okay, this is equals to a plus b, a squared minus 2ab plus minus b, ab plus b squared. So these are the things that you need to understand. Okay, and cubic form. Okay, these are the things you need to understand. And also that, okay, how to do the cross multiplication. Okay, you need to factorize. For example, 4 minus 4x squared plus 1 4. So you need to straight away know that. So you need to find out the square immediately and make it a perfect square. Okay, as you know that O-level math is quite competitive, so you need to do it fast. Okay, so let's say this is plus, this will be plus. Thirdly, you need to know that how to do partial fraction. So partial fractions, okay, first of all, you need to know that, okay, you need to know that it's a proper or improper fraction. Okay, long division. Long division means that, for example, like the power here, and the power here at the bottom, if n Sm power is less than Sm, this is a proper fraction. If n is bigger than m, it's improper. Therefore, you need long division. So how to do long division, for example? x2 minus 1, so we just do x squared plus 3x plus 5, x squared minus 1, x3, x cubed. So x1 power 1 and give you, okay, x2, right? Okay, this is 1, they give you x2 minus 1, then you just need to minus off the thing. That's it. It becomes 1 plus x squared minus 1, okay, 3x plus 6. Then how to do the later on? Okay, this can become x plus 1, x minus 1, okay. Then you need to do a and b or do. If you encounter something like that, x squared plus 1, then on top of it, you just ax plus b will do. If you encounter the denominator with n, so for example, like this is x, so how do? You just need to make it the power of 1, 2, until to x minus 1 n. Okay, then it's a, b, c. Then you just need to do the comparison of coefficients. Okay, until n x minus 1. Okay, that's it. So this is the tricks. Then for the factors, you just need to sub the things in. For example, like you sub a equals to 0, so a minus a is the factors of xx. So this is called what? Polynomial theorems, or we call it as polynomial theorem, or we call it what? Remainder theorem, not remainder theorems. Okay, this is just your so remainder theorems, or you can call it as It's a factor theorem. If you have two solutions like f minus a, s minus b, all give fx equals to 0, then fx have two factors. But it can have other polynomials, okay, too. So these are the things. So the other things you need to take care is logarithm. Log any number x, a, b. So log xa plus log xb. Both in your curriculum or a and b have to be real and they have to be positive. Okay, cannot be 0. So these are the things you need to take note. Okay, actually x can be any number but in O level, I mean, we will stick with that. So the other special one is e log x equals to x. So these are the things, and 2 log 2 x equals to x2. Okay, so these are the special thing you need to understand. The other thing is your cosine 0 equals to 1, which is your cosine 0, degree and radian. Radian, how to convert? Pi over 180 times x. Theta become your radian x. Okay, so cosine pi over 2 is equal to cosine 90 degree is equal to 0 also. Okay, so you see why I use cosine? Because very simple. Want to remember cosine and sine? Don't use tuak castle already. Okay, I mean that is very long. The longest length, cosine and sine is always less than 1. So this is theta. So cosine itself is horizontal. Okay, horizontal. Sine is always vertical. Okay, so just sine theta, cosine theta. And tangent theta is just sine over cosine theta. That's it. Okay, so you need to remember to castle. S is vertical. Okay, and C is horizontal. CH. Okay, and SB, SUV. Okay, whatever you want to remember that. Okay, tangent is sine over cosine. So in trigonometry, actually, you just need to remember Pythagoras theorem. Okay. Sine square plus cosine square at 1 is actually equals to the Pythagoras theorem, a square plus b square, c square divided by a square plus b square. Alright. So why? Because sine square itself is vertical divided by horizontal divided by the longest one. Cosine theta equals to horizontal divided by the longest length. So isn't that b square over ya c square plus a square over c square equals to 1. So sine square plus cosine square equals to 1. You have to memorize this. Don't rely on the formula list. So these are not reliable. Not saying not reliable, it's just that you don't have time to refer to that. You need to memorize. So this is cosine, sine, cosine. So you just need to turn it become theta, tangent divided by 1 equals secant square. So cosine, okay, cosine theta equals to 1 over secant square. Correct? And sine theta equals to 1 over cosecant square. I think why I write very eligibly, because you need to cultivate that mind that you do more exercise and you need to do this revision. You cannot skip the revision by reading this video. You should read at least done 5 questions for each topic and do your 10-year series. At least 5 years. So you familiar with this thing, then you understand what I'm saying. If not, then you check the answer. If not, then if you have doubt, then you can approach me. Okay, 936627114. Then we charge consultation fee, or you could ask your teachers or your tutor or whoever, okay, to help you or your friends. So you need to do practice 10 years series 5 years, okay, in advance. And also that tangent theta equals to 1 over cotangent theta. So cotangent theta equals to tangent theta 90 degree minus theta. So whenever 90 degree minus 1, 90 theta, if with core become no core, with no core become core. Okay, that is the thing you need to understand. And sine a plus b is what? Sine, cosine, cosine, sine. So just sine, cosine, cosine, sine. Don't rely on the formula booklet. So, and sine itself, concordance sake, is plus and minus. So you just memorize these things. If you want to derive, it can be derived also. But if you have time, I think you can You can derive whenever in the bus, in toilet, whatever. So because if you love mathematics will love you back. Okay, that is the beauty of study mathematics. So don't think that if you don't love math, math will love you back. It will never happen. Okay. Alright, so cosine a plus b become cosine minus sine. Cosine is plus and minus, it will reverse. So just memorize this thing will do, because after that you need to encounter sine A plus cosine B. It will split the thing. Okay, so 201 sine A plus B probably plus sine A minus B. So for this you can use it to solve your trigonometry equation, and can also solve your integration and differentiation. So you know that differentiation, you have a single angle with what unit index, unit orders up, so you can solve. Okay, integration as well. So these are the things, that basic thing that you need to know. So then what else? So for identity, okay, I recommend you change all to sine and cosine. Okay, so easier for you, so no need to memorize a lot of things. So for that, for those like how to solve the equation, very simple. So normally they give you quadratic equation. So but you cannot see quadratic. For example, cosine x minus sine square x equals to 1. Okay, equals to 1. So you can straight away, if you are very smart, you can straight away know that this is 2. This is cosine 2x already. So equals to 1, then you know that cosine 2x equals to 1. Okay, you put a unit circle. This is y and x. Cosine is always x axis. So x axis equal to 1 is only the 0 and 2 pi here. So if let's say that I give you that the t is within 0 to 2 pi, then you know that 2 pi is 4 pi over 0. So you know that the solution is 0, 2 pi, and 4 pi. Okay, so this is 2t, 2t, 2t. So it's going to give you a solution. However, somehow things are not so straightforward. If let's say cosine square minus 2 sine square x equals to 1. Okay, you also can use different method. For example, here you can become 1 plus cosine 2x divided by 2. This becomes cosine 2x. Okay, 1 minus cosine 2x. Okay, equals to 1. So you can manipulate this thing, later become cosine 2x. Alternatively, if you think that you don't like cosine, you can use sine square plus cosine square x equals to 1. So you just sub in, you just change your sine x, become cosine x square. Okay, so these are the things that then you become a total things with sine x squared plus 1, then you just manipulate this thing. I mean, this is too simple already. I expect that you guys have to know this. And also that if you encounter some question, cosine plus sine x. So always remember the first one. Okay, preview. The first order preview. So cosine x, you change to 1 minus sine square x equals to something. Then remember that you have to use this formula. X minus 1 formula, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So you need to familiarize with this thing. If you are not familiar, you go and practice more. Okay. And also that the binomial theorem, you need to know your Pascal triangle. Okay. And also some very special angle. So 30 degree, 60, 60, 60. So it becoming 2, 2, 1, 1. So square root 3. Okay, so that is just that I say that longer divided by the vertical, you 30 degree, right? So it's sine. So it's equal to cosine 60. So you don't need to go and think much. Okay, 30 straight away minus 90. 90 minus 30 is cosine 60. So then cosine 60 equals to square root 2. Okay, 1 over 2. But square root 30 is equal to 1, 2. Square root 2 over 2 is equal to sine 60. So straight away, you just remember this. So don't hesitate. You need to read. Okay, tangent 30 degree 1 over square root 3. Tangent 60 square root 3. So this is conjugate. So tangent 45 1. Okay, no you think too much. Tangent 90. Okay, infinity or undefined. Okay, normally in your case you call undefined. Okay, tangent 0 0 because sine 0 is 0. Okay, so these are the things that you cannot afford to memorize. I mean, before the exam of the day, you need to practice at least a month, about 100 questions and above. Okay, less than that, about 50 questions and above. Then you understand, and then you need to find out some like tangent A plus B, giving you tangent A and tangent B, how much. Then you need to know a formula, tangent A plus tangent B equals 1 minus tangent A, tangent B. If you I give you sine A, how much? Okay, cosine B, how much? Then you need to draw a triangle. Like this is 3, this is 5. Then this is 4, this is 5. Something like that. Then from here, you go and manipulate tangent A by drawing a triangle. Then look at the angle. If the angle in the first quadrant, okay, then it's an acute angle, then it's okay. But if it's negative or positive, then you use A, S, T, C, and go and check. Or which angle does it belongs to? Okay, then which value? Or sine A, cosine B. Then use formula to think. Okay, so these are the tricks. Then for the differentiation, integration, very simple. Okay, in O level you only learn about this formula. Okay, where n, okay, n is any number. Okay, from here. But if your integration, okay, n cannot be minus 1 because minus 1 is ln x. So you just understand this thing. Then ex is ex. Okay, of course, if you can derive that, it will be perfect. Actually, it's not difficult to derive. And chain rule is that, for example, like now, if I have a lot of things inside my my function, so it's like 3 is here, you treat it as a whole function, as a function. It's called composite function. That means a lot of things mixed together. So become psi square x plus 2x plus 3. Okay, then you differentiate what internally. Okay, then because of this is psi, but this is psi, then you become cosine. So these are the things that you need to understand. Okay, there are 3 composites here. First, you treat it like a polynomial. Okay, single term. And secondly, internally, you need to do it. And thirdly, is because of trigonometry function, you have to do that. Trigonometry also is a circular function. Why it called circular? Because you differentiate sine, it will become cosine. Okay, cosine you differentiate become minus sine. So those symbols and things like that, you need to be familiar. So now, y become dy dx is y prime. Okay, it's y prime, and integration dy dx and dx it's always together. Don't mix. It become y plus c. Okay, so then you know that. Okay, if integration I got upper bound lower bound, it is fb minus fa, where integration, the indefinite integration, small fx become fbf plus c. Okay, so these are the things, the tricks that you need to understand. The integration, if the shift aside, okay, it have to be a and b, fx dx. Okay, the other thing I bear in mind is that, okay, the index normally student will forget index, how we do the index. For example, this is 2, this is 1. So what you need to do is that this become in between, okay, that the index in the thing you need to multiply. Okay, in the parentheses in bracket okay, this is a perfect square. So perfect square, perfect things is multiplied. So you let, okay, in mathematics we also let y equals to something. So y square equals to 2y plus minus 3. If you cannot understand okay, the y and that kind of stuff, the ex, so you just let. Okay, let. Okay, for example, like if you don't let, it's very difficult to envisage. Envisage means that it's very difficult to visualize. Okay, so these are the things. Then y is equal to 3 and y equals to minus 1. So now you know that in the O levels you don't learn a lot of things. So actually this x become I pi. But the thing is that you haven't learned a complex number. So this is minus 1. So this is 3. Then ex is 3. Then x is ln 3. Okay. So you just don't understand. And also the logarithm, you also, I mean, those questions are quite simple. 3x, like 3 of things like that. So you just need to change the base. So normally you can change to 10 base, or you can change any base you like. For example, this x, I don't like x to be here. So I just like 3 to be here, then you change the base. That will become 1 over 3x. So you let log 3x equals to y. So become quadratic equation. Normally is the case. So then the other thing is that you have sine cosine, right? For example, right now, I want to manipulate, I want to calculate, I want to find out what is this, the solution here. So you see the single term is sine. So now we see cosine. Cosine, I'm very happy because it's 1 minus sine square x. So we just let sine x equals y. So it's 1 minus y square plus y, 3y equals to 4. So we just manipulate again using b squared minus 4ac. But bearing in mind that sine x, cosine x, it have to be between 0 and 1 and 0. And just need to draw the curve. Sine curve is like that. Cosine curve is like that. Okay, you go and check it out. I mean, which one is the period and that kind of stuff. This is pi 2. So if you remember the curve, you don't even need to remember what's the value like, because it's very simple. Okay, so you just need to remember these two curves, and tangent is something like that. This is pi over 2, this is minus pi over 2. And sine theta equals to minus sine theta equals to sine minus theta. Cosine minus theta equals cosine theta. Okay, so these are the things you remember. If you remember doing the thing, just try to memorize. Okay, so then the other technique is that they'll ask you to do this. So to do this, of course, it's very difficult to integrate because you know ln and x never seen before, right? So then they'll ask you to differentiate something first. You differentiate. So after differentiate, for example, right now we're using product rules. Differentiate. Okay, you differentiate the things already, then you just integrate it. Okay, you have to put integration at both sides. Okay, x squared over 2 plus c. So now you know that this integrate itself, okay, because we differentiate this, right? Okay, sorry, we differentiate this, so this differentiation now we know that dy dx, when they integrate become y itself, y plus c. Okay, so this is a norm. So this is x squared plus c plus c equals to ln x dx 2. So you just need to shift the 2 over, that kind of stuff. So it's always happen, you need to practice at least 10 questions. Then you're familiar with this thing. So the other thing is that the area, they ask you that, okay, whether y I see area, and then how to find integration. Okay, this is more on the IQ questions. Actually, these IQ questions, I do not know whether you come out or not in that exam, but I've never seen that before. But I think it's pretty simple to answer. So you just need to know that where to cut, horizontal cut, vertical cut, or horizontal cut. Okay, for the area. So then you just do the things. Okay. So after that, kinematic, can we just know that, okay, this is s equal to dv dt. Sorry, I say wrongly. So s equals to dv dt. Sorry, s is the displacement. Okay, displacement, distance, and accelerations. So you need to do for physics. If you are very good at physics, you will know that. Rate of change of displacement, rate of change of things like that. So then the inverse is the integration things. So you need to practice as well, because the things are quite tricky. So you need to know how to draw diagram. Okay. The last thing is that you need to know that, okay, this circle, okay, your E-math things will help. But I think most importantly, okay, you need to know that this is the angle is the same as this angle. So then the rest of the planetary geometry, I think is not that difficult. Okay, the other thing is that you know big Y equals to big X M plus C. The 5Y is a big X and big Y. Okay, without, I mean, manipulate a function, I just move here and there lor. I mean, you get the things, then get a linear law. I mean, this is very useful when you go to universities. And what else? Okay, to plot a curve. Okay, then I think that is very important. Y equals to ax plus bs plus c. You need to understand you have y intercept and intercept. Y intercept and intercept is that how you cut the thing. So if let's say that your a here is positive, so it become like that. A and B. Okay. And so if you cut your y, it become like that. This become probably C and D. X equals to K, Y minus C, Y minus D. Okay. So, but if your K is less than 0, it will concave downwards, or you can call convex. Okay, whatever you like to do. So this is the maximum point, and you do okay, you do square to find a perfect square. So it comes with the familiarity. You look at me how I do that. Okay, I actually you need to be familiar with this thing. I mean, you need to do at least 20 questions or 10 questions and above. I mean, there's no shortcut for math lah. Okay, so this is minus 4. It's the maximum value because this square is always bigger than 0. So minus 4 is more than minus 4 here. So something minus 4. So that means that the mean value is minus 4. So you concave outwards. Then this is 2 minus 1. So normally, okay, for example, like this curve, which is not the black curve anymore, something like that, minus 4, the purple curve. So then you look at this is symmetrical. Okay, you find this as intercept. Actually, you can use a square minus b square to find this out, or b square minus 4ac if you are very free. You can use that. So these two, the midpoint, x1 plus x2 equals 2. Actually, the midpoint is a maximum point. So you look at this characteristic, and thirdly is your asymptote things. Yx equals to y is k. So you have this curve. If k is bigger than 0, smaller than 0, you have this curve. And also that, so this is a value a, this value b. So your x equals to a plus x minus b times c. If c bigger than 0, you get something like that. Alright, then your log curve. Okay, so this is asymptote. Okay, then this is when y equals 0, what's the x value? So when it's 1, log x. Okay, so then your x minus e curve and xe curve. Okay, so these are the things that you might need to know. I mean, this is a basic thing. And lastly is that you memorize 16 equals to 4 square, 5 square equals to 25, 125 equals to 5 cube. Okay, 7 cube equals to how much? You go and calculate. 64. But these are a weird number you need to memorize. 81. And very basic. Okay, 128 is 2 to the power 7. So this sort of thing, and square. The other thing is that square root x equals to 4. You can do by x plus 2 equals to 0, x equals to 2, or x equals to minus 2. Alternatively, you can do that x squared is to 4. So your absolute, okay, your square root then become this. Square root something will be only be negative, positive. So x bigger than 0, x will become 2. X smaller than 0, x become minus 2. Because 负得正, minus plus. And also that if you come up with inequality, please do a resolution. My method is that neither you put this is bigger than 0, then you put a way diagram here. So this is bigger than 0, then you just x bigger than 2, x is minus 3 and 1. So you just do something that is normally done. Don't go and correct yourself. Okay, I mean to make yourself troublous. I mean not so trouble. You must always remember that in the fraction, x minus 9 can never be 0. Okay, whatever. So, and also that so x cannot be plus and minus 3. And also a square root something internally, it have to be bigger than 0. But this term is bigger than 0 because b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. Okay, so that's about all. Thank you.